There we go. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, Stay.
Yay.
And
we get the timing on all this down at some point.
Yeah, now we have the Stray Kids music stuff. It's even better.
I know. I finally figured out how to do it. I'm going to lower this down just a little bit more. So it's not like...
Well, hey, Stay. It's me, JC. Welcome to STAYtalk. And as always, now on my right is...
Hi, I'm Chrysalis, otherwise known as Shannon. I'm just kidding. Should I say both or should I just keep it as the one?
Whatever you want to do.
Doesn't matter. Either or.
Like I said to Pixie the other day, it's like we like Jenny, because we're both versions of that.
Yeah.
So I've been my whole life. It's Jennifer, Jen, Jenny.
They call me Jen. They call me Stacy.
Yeah. Exactly. So welcome all.
Hi. How are we doing today?
Yeah.
We are how you had a countdown going. We're 1 day, 16 hours. How many where are we at now?
That was like hours ago. So I think we're like 1 day, 5 hours, 27 minutes. I don't know.
We're under 48 hours from the launch.
That's right.
Essentially is what it is. We are under 48 hours. There is a ton of stuff that has happened in the last 24 hours just in and of itself. So even if we had something planned for today's episode prior to this moment, it probably would have gone out the window because there's far more, I shouldn't say important, but far more time sensitive things that we could possibly put on the table today. So with that being said, which one do we want to start off with? Do we want to start off the KBS reading?
Yeah, and you know why I want to start about that? Because there was an update.
I did see that this morning as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think we should start with that. I will lead off to you.
Okay. So I'm still learning. I had to go and educate myself about this as well, because obviously every country has their own regulations and everything that they require. Those of us that are in the US, we're used to our, PG whatever ratings. We're used to the the parental advisory stickers due to the PMRC on our albums and whatnot for explicit lyrics and things of that nature. Obviously Korea has their own, and apparently from what I could determine, each of the broadcast networks have their own ranking system.
Okay.
So KBS happens to be like one of the three main broadcasting systems in Korea. Kind of like how we
Korean broadcasting system, right? It's like
but it's like the main one. But it's kind of like how we over here in the US have ABC, NBC, CBS, right? Yeah. It's each station has its own broadcasting system, and KBS is the big one. But there's also MBS and another one, and I don't remember what the other one was. However, whenever anything gets released, apparently, if it's going to be promoted in broadcast over that particular broadcasting system, it has to go through a review as to whether or not it is acceptable and meets the standards for that particular broadcasting system's requirements for what they deem appropriate.
Right.
Which, I mean, makes sense. We have that over here. I think I'm pretty sure they have something similar in Europe. Like at this point in time, there is a level of review and continuity, not necessarily continuity, but review,
right,
as to whether something is allowed to be broadcast or not for whatever reasons. And all but one of the songs currently on Karma got approved for broadcast, meaning that the guys can perform those songs on TV, and those songs can be used on TV, and they can be broadcast over the radio.
Right.
Essentially, because over there it's not just the the perform. It's not just the visual arts. It's the audio arts as well. So like over here, I mean, granted, we have that over here too in the US. It's just all one conglomerate, and they break it off into little sub companies. Whole other thing. But over there, it's the same. So if it is a station, whether it is audio or visual, that's under KBS, the one song that will not be allowed is BLEEP. And don't ask me what the Korean word for it is again, because I've heard it 10 million times and I keep forgetting what it happens to be. Which kind of makes sense, and I think is very ironic.
Considering it's a censor word.
But what's hilariously funny is there's not an actual bleep or language. There's no actual like words in there that would be censored. From what everybody is saying, from people that have supposedly seen the actual lyrics for the song so far, I don't know how the leaks have happened with that, but so from the people that have seen the lyrics, there is no derogatory or expletive in the song.
unless it's leaning towards it, because my thing would be, okay, like, frail, bleep, duh, you know what I mean?
think
like,
the reason that was given, hold on, let me pull up the
it
visual
said
again.
Unfitting and harassing. Something about I thought it said something about harassing.
Antisocial. It promotes antisocial behavior.
Because you're saying, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost saying like, and so we don't get censored.
So this is, and this is one of those things where culturally speaking, us over here in the US are laughing because I recall being the metalhead that I was. I recall when Warrant's Cherry Pie came out and Ode to Tipper Gore was on that. And if you don't know, Tipper Gore happened to be one of the spearheads of the PMRC. They were the ladies of they were the wives of the senators and whatnot that created the parental blah, 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 yada, yada. Anyway, they thought that metal music was causing issues and problems. So they created the PMRC in order to advocate that metal music essentially be stopped completely, like not allowed at all.
Metal and then she started to go after the hip hop and the rappers.
But at that point in time,
that was the parental guidance, though, thing.
Yeah, and what came from that ultimately was them saying, well, we can't censor them completely because it's free speech, which kind of goes into yesterday's topic of conversation. Correct. So what they instead is that's where we got the parental advisory stickers on our CDs, and why now when you look at Spotify or Apple Music and you see that little E next to it, that's their version of the parental advisory sticker that was physically put on the CDs.
I always think of the gaming ones. It's like E for entertainment. I'm like, there you go. It's E for entertainment. And
what's hilarious and funny is what that ultimately ended up doing when the PMRC did. Now, this is like what, 85, 86 when this was going on. I want to.
I was little, so I was 7.
Yeah, so like 85, 84,
yeah,
85.
84, yeah.
And so all that ended up doing was basically driving sales for any item that had a parental advisory sticker on it. Because of course, what did all the teenagers want then? They wanted the albums that had the sticker. Like, give it to me.
Yeah.
So I find it funny that something as simple as a song that doesn't even have an expletive in it, but that again, that goes back to cultural differences. We're a lot more.
I think it's also the tone. I mean, the tone. You could tell the tone of that was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you watched the intro video today, which we will get to in just a little bit as well, they kind of went over that a little bit.
Yeah.
But
I liked the record. Sorry, we will talk about it. But the one little segue to that was I love when they were recording Felix on that intro video, and he always said he couldn't do an American accent. Well, he must have been working on it because that was hysterical.
It's Chan. Chan can't do an American accent.
Water.
Have you seen the meme? There's a TikTok meme that I saw. I don't know who did it. I think I saved it on TikTok.
Okay.
But there's a TikTok meme where it was like they show Chan and he's like, what are you talking about? I can do anything. And then they show Hyunjin and Hyunjin's in the meme over top of it was like, okay, say burger.
Yeah, burger. It's true. But it was very funny. Because it was funny, it was like boomer, and I was just like, it's hysterical. It was the cutest thing to see. I'm sorry, it tickled me funny. Like throughout that whole intro video, I laughed quite a lot. I thought it was.
Well, and then there's like, we want you to do in between, do in between the Australian and American. And here's Felix like, how do I do? You can see the gears at Felix's head, like
yes. Yeah,
At that point, you become Bostonian.
Yes. Yes.
Booma. At that point, you become Bostonian. But going back to the KBS, the update that was put out this morning, and again, I applaud JYPE for this because obviously the guys were like, no, like this is what we want.
You know what? I think they had to change Bounce Back.
Easy. They had to change. No, I don't think it was Bounce Back. It was Easy. They had to change Easy.
No, because they said there was a harder version of Bounce Back that was supposed to come out, and they had to rein it in. So I have a feeling that maybe they had a KBS rated.
No, because somebody did. I saw somebody else on Threads did kind of a deep dive yesterday, And the only songs that they found that KBS flagged were Easy and Get Lit. And Backdoor. Easy, Get Lit, and Backdoor were the ones that were flagged.
But I still think Bounce Back, they couldn't do the version they wanted to. I said, so I think in this way it was like, you know what? No, we want this.
I think that was self-censored. I think Backdoor was self-censored, though. I think that was the company saying, we can't, then this isn't going to fly. Like, you know what I mean?
Bounce Back, you mean?
Yeah, I think that was the company.
Oh, yeah, I totally do too. But I also think that was the old contract, wasn't it? Was that the old contract or the new?
Yes, that would have been the old contract.
All right.
That would have
so now it's the new one. We're saying, no, we're not changing it.
Which makes me think, because we had that conversation before, because they renewed their contract a year early, we don't know how many years it is for officially. That has never been broadcast or published in any way, shape, or form. So we don't know if the first contract for 7 years was to run out and then they extended it for a period of time, or whether they renewed it from that 6th year, and that first year, like this last year, has been technically under the new contract.
Could be.
Based on the actions about this today, I would wager they just extended it. So this last year would have been under the old contract, which also makes sense for things like covering Han's tattoos up more, and and some of the things that they've done that they were like, you could tell they were pushing the envelope.
Yeah. I do think this contract is longer than I'm thinking, or it could be the same amount, or you know what I mean? Like the same 6 years or 7 years it was, only because Chan keeps repeating, and he did it on the SBS. Was it or was it KBS News? That Nightline
SBS. Korea. That was SBS.
Okay. He did say, my goal is for Stray Kids to be together for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And that just keeps reiterating that. Yeah, he keeps reiterating that, and so do the other guys. So my feeling is that, Felix says, we have so much more to give you in the future, so please look forward to it. We have so much more to give you. Yeah. He repeats that, both of them repeat that. So to me, that means they're in this. They want to be together for the long haul. There's no last step out until maybe they can't step anymore. You know what I mean?
But I guarantee you that whatever this new, it's apparent already, to me at least, just from what I know, being in that industry, doing the touring shows and whatnot, just from what I am seeing, it leads me to believe that they extend it's another extension. This last year was basically the run out of the first contract, which is why there was that give and take with, we're pushing the envelope, but we're not going over the line yet.
Right. But I think it kicked in during the tour.
Oh yeah, they were.
It was there. I mean, there was definitely a divide, like right in the middle of the tour, when they almost like when they left like Latin America and came to North America, or even in the Latin America, that they definitely were like really pushing. Which
we're us now.
Yep, which is I'm happy to see.
Yay! But again, still kudos for JYPE for backing them up on that, because I'm pretty sure that was them saying, nope, we're not changing this. Like, we don't need to promote this song. We have no intention of promoting this song. This song's just going to be on the album.
Here they don't have any intention of promoting it. I would beg to see if maybe something over here more flies.
Well, yeah, they
internationally. I'm just saying, like, let somebody use it over here or whatever.
Who knows? Who knows? But we'll have to see how that goes. But yay. And obviously this close to the album being released, I don't think the album would have been adjusted in any way, shape, or form. I think what would have happened simply is just that if they were going to use that song for any promotional purposes, they would have. Yeah. Now, which makes me wonder, though. Mm-hmm. This makes me wonder, because they did talk about in today's intro too, they obviously talked about the video for Ceremony.
They did.
And they talked about the video for Creed.
Yes.
So was the teaser that we got for Bleep going to be be this version of Domino? And we're not going to get an actual music video for Bleep?
I think we're getting a music video, because they talked about the styling in that intro video about Bleep, that they wanted to be black and dark and everything else, and they put them in that cowboy with the phasers as opposed to guns.
Right.
So, which makes me feel they wouldn't have, if they thought that much about the costuming, that they had to have recorded a music video. I don't think.
I'm just wondering, because obviously that music video is not going to be aired over in Korea, but
but it'll be aired on YouTube.
Not necessarily.
Why?
Because so far anything that they've based on, I don't know.
No, because I think I have a feeling it'll be aired here on YouTube. They
I'll be
can't,
curious to
censor
see.
us. They can't censor what they provide to us. So
well,
if they
true,
put,
but
if KYP puts it up on their YouTube channel that's here in the States,
but I'm just
and
curious
it will
how
say
far
it will say censored due to whatever in whatever country.
That's right, because it's only on KBS that it's censored. They could technically show it on the other two channels.
Right. If the other two channels are okay with that. And maybe they are. Who knows?
If you are in Korea and you understand these little idiosyncrasies and intricacies, please let us know down the comments somewhere along the lines.
Again, that's just what I think, but who knows?
Yeah, we're still learning all this. Like it's still a learning process. But yay, they still they kind of stuck to their guns. They're like, no, this is the way the song's going to be. And
so let's talk about the intro video then.
Okay, yeah, then we'll segue into that. So I have not watched anything. There was so much content today. I have not had, and I had an interview and stuff earlier, so I've not been able to catch up on a dang thing yet.
You watched the intro?
I watched the intro video. Okay. I've watched that. I just haven't watched any of the other interviews that have been published today or the talker. And I know, and it's Chan, so I have to watch it because it's Chan. But there's just too much content. It's a marathon, not a sprint, folks.
I know. I was texting with Pixie earlier and we were talking about it. She's like, I'm in a meeting. She's like, I can't watch all this stuff
all the time.
Well, you'll have to wait.
I'm actually kind of happy right now that I'm unemployed because it does allow me to actually do all the stuff.
True.
But regardless, I don't know about you, I really liked the whole podcast Racha hosting vibe.
I was going to bring that up first. I like that much better than them just sitting by themselves talking about the album.
Yeah, because you got that. It was that they are so collaborative. Yeah. Just in general. I mean, obviously you've got the nucleus with Racha. Right. But they are so collaborative just as a group and as a whole. So to be able to have that interaction amongst them.
Yes.
And obviously all 8 of them together is just chaos. So I understand breaking it out to that level. But it was really cool for me to see that collaboration because one of the things I noticed so actually 2 things that I noticed watching that particular format for them doing this was one, they were talking about Sungmin writing more,
which I think he does. Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is great. I'm glad to see that, and I'm glad to see that that's kind of he's getting not just improving on his vocal skills, but he's also pursuing that as well. That's kind of like a nod to the fact that, hey, this is something else Sungmin is doing. Like this is something he is improving upon and working on. But then also we've all known that Hyunjin has had a very strong hand in the songwriting process for the group. Like he is the unspoken honorary member of Racha, so to be able to see him having that input with the 3 of them and just so centered and comfortable and confident.
And you know where I think that stems from? Because that was my point I was going to bring up that I noticed immediately upon watching the intro video was Hyunjin and how he's like an intricate part more so than I paid attention to prior. But it's funny, you didn't watch the Salon Drip interview with Felix and Chanbin, did you?
I tried to, but it doesn't have subtitles, and I have.
It does now.
It does now. I will be watching it today then.
So what I did notice was they talked about the dorms and they talked about the 8 and then to the 4. And when it was the 4, it was 3 Racha and Hyunjin. Mm-hmm. So I think he got to be a fly on the wall for a lot of this, and I think they asked him, opinions when he was living with them. So I think that's why you have a lot of Hyungchan, with Escape and Red Lights, because they were together and like, oh, I have this idea, and so I think that that really impressed me.
The guys have mentioned before in some of the old 2 Kids rooms that Chan and Hyunjin, part of the reason why they gel so weather. It's been a long day already, folks. But so long as they gel so well together, thank you. I just pulled a Chan and you just pulled a Felix. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So the whole reason why they do that though is because their musical interests align so closely.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'll give you the biggest, for instance, DPR Ian. When DPR Ian came out with all his stuff, do you know who DPR Ian is?
I know of him. I haven't sat down and actually.
For those that are going to say, well, you say his name. Yeah, Christian Yu. Hyunjin was like all in. And then I watched I think it was a Chan's room where Chan talked about it. And I have been preaching from the rooftops, please do a collab, like have Stray Kids and DPR Ian, because DPR Ian was in a Korean boy band. That's how he started. Sea Clown was what he was part of. So I don't think he would be against. And then Ian answered back, or I don't know if it was to Chan or Hyunjin or one of them, like on a Instagram live or something, and said, "Oh yeah, he respects them and he would love to do something and everything else." So that would be the collab that I would want.
He kind of leans more kind of like dark gothy.
He does. It's funny. It's like, how do I put this? It's EDM meets dark gothy meets because he has
new wavy.
New wavy. He has this is I'm going to say this wrong, so forgive me. Dissociative
identity disorder.
So he has himself when he's Ian. He has Mito, which is the dark character. It's got like one white eye kind of thing, and then he has Mr. Insanity, which is like his manic personality, and that comes through his music, and he reflects that in his music. Like he even does songs like when he has that, and you hear Mito, it's a different vocal tone, it's a different, and but he's self-produced. He directs all his videos, he does all the musical production, he does all for DPR, which is Dream Perfect Regime. He does all the directing and everything and music thing for the other members of DPR, because there's DPR E and DPR Cream, DPR Arctic, which is a DJ type EDM type music. Cream is sort of like a hip hop, and Live, when he was a part of it, was also hip hop and rap. So it's a very interesting, and I think him and Chan would gel.
Probably.
And he's from Australia. He's an Australian Korean. So he's from Sydney too.
Oh,
so you know what I mean? Like that's like, give me my Aussies, please.
So yeah, but any collaboration.
Going back to the intro, sorry. So going back to the intro, but yes, and the other interesting point that I found from the intro video, besides that, I thought it was fantastic to just see all the little snippets of all of them, was how much Chan has rubbed off on Ian. In regards to, like, Ian had a really, he really wanted one of the other songs to be the main title song, and how, like I think he sort of fought for it, which I was like, ooh, you go, Macna, and Lino with the choreography, because they said that the ceremony choreography fit so perfectly, and that's going to be, and when I watched when we watched the little snippet of the dance thing, I'm like, this is going to fit. Like, and it also seems not easier, but like I watched the choreography a couple times from the little snippet that they showed with Felix with doing the thing, and I'm like, I can learn, like that's choreography I could learn right away. You know
well, there's people that, like, I've already seen a couple of TikTokers yesterday. Like that snippet came out yesterday morning, and by last night there were already a couple of TikTokers that had that choreography. Which I love to dance. I love it, and it took me a while to like just kind of realize. I literally had to have somebody tell me just like stop thinking and just dance.
Yeah.
Because and it's funny because I can do choreography for fighting, and I can somewhat learn choreography for dancing, but my brain doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Like I can choreograph a fight, but I can't choreograph a dance, even though it's a similar.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
So to me, when I have people yesterday, like literally that came out yesterday morning, and by last night there were at least 2, if not 3 people that I saw on TikTok last night that already had them doing the choreo to that snippet. And I was like, damn.
Yeah, I want to hear the whole album, because I think Phoenix will be the one that, I don't care even if they have choreography to that. I'm doing my own, because when they played that snippet today and it was what Chan was playing in that Chan's room, I was like, yes, we won. It's the beat. Like I wrote Pixie immediately and was like, Jenny, I'm like, it's the beat. We got it. It's the song. And she's like,
yeah, so like, I love how choreographers' brains work just in general, because I think it's because I shouldn't say I can't do it. I am not proficient.
You know what it is? It's funny. And I think, I dare I say this, that I'm like Lino in this capacity, because Lino and Hyunjin mostly choreograph, correct? I mean, it feels from time to time, but I believe it's Lino and then Hyunjin comes in and kind of, Lino choreographed to the beat. Do you know what I mean by that? Like and that's how my brain works. When I hear a piece of music, like with side effects, like the, you know what I mean? Like it's, you're definitely going to do a, you know what I mean? Like, so that's how you know, a choreographer's brain is like, listens to the music and then kind of like makes something that's, and Lino does that. Not all choreographers do this, but Lino does. And like when I saw him, like even in other dance videos doing that, I'm like, ooh, I have something in common with Lino, because I'm like, because he's like, it's 1, 2, 3, but then he's like, it's bump, 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 you know, like, or whatever. And that's what me, I'm like, go, you know, like it's, you have to, like, there's a certain speak, you know what I mean, that choreographers have. You gotta understand, it's like da 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 da, you know.
It's funny because when I choreograph fights, because the genre, what I did, I equate to the WWE with swords. The difference being is that the WWE is improvised. It's scripted, but it's improvised. They're making it up on this. They're literally making it up on the spot in the ring while they're doing it. What I did was a similar format in that we had an audience on all 4 sides of us. So it wasn't a thrust stage where we could throw a punch and the punch could be like this far away from the person's face and you wouldn't be able to tell, because that's motion picture fighting, is when, you know, you're working from a thrust stage. Anybody in theater will understand what I'm saying. If you're not in theater, I apologize, but we had, you know, it was theater in the round. So we had to have, and so when I threw a punch, I literally had to, like right here, like, to do it. And, you know, so we got hurt a lot because you actually got punched in the face sometimes, and because it's just the way it works. But whenever we choreographed fights, it was always on a beat. We would have, we would kind of, the way I was taught essentially, by the people that taught me is, and trained me essentially, was, if you think about what you want, and I imagine this is how choreographers work. So correct me if I'm wrong. If you think about what you're wanting to portray, the story you're wanting to portray with that choreography, and then think of the beat structure. Now, obviously, with actual choreography to a song, you already have one, and then go from there. So anytime we would do a fight, it was like bam, bam, ta, ta, and the different songs with the different sounds would indicate
different movements,
like the strength. You know, or the strength of the hit,
or the intention of the movement, and that's exactly it. Because like, especially, and what got me, because it still runs through my head because I've been listening to it all day, is the karma with the legs and the hands. I'm like, because it's just that perfect. That's what it feels like. It feels like you're just kind of like. And so when I saw that move, I was like, okay, Lino, I see you. I see you.
He said he did something similar with Lose My Breath. Yes, I'm mentioning the song no one wants to talk about. But and we're not going there, so don't even start with me right now.
No, but you're just mentioning it for the choreography.
So, but when he was talking about the choreography for the song, he was talking about wanting to make choreography that was on the beat. And that wasn't, you know, and that
believe it or not, that's harder to do than you expect, because a lot of people, a lot of dancers, and sometimes I see this and I saw this with the guys on stage. You're either a beat ahead or a beat behind. Sometimes you're right on the beat, but most dancers, if you have a group of dancers together, in that group, there will be somebody who's just a little slightly ahead and somebody who's a little slightly behind. And if you have enough people that are on the beat, it will look cohesive.
Yeah, it's like singing.
The boys have it down to a science. Like, I've never seen, I mean, most K-pop groups, I have to say, I've never seen such pristine being on the beat all together, dancing, and the movements and the arm sizes are the same, and the move, you know what I mean? Like, the hands are exactly, it's just, it flabbergasts me how
the synchronization.
But then you see how hard they rehearse, and then you realize, okay, that's like, now it's ingrained.
Did you ever see the video of them sitting on the ground with the boxes and doing the choreography with the box? If not, I'll try to find it and send it to you.
I may have, but I'm not so sure.
It reminded me a lot of almost like a kata. But, and of course, anybody that takes martial arts, you do the kata to learn the moves so that you could do them correctly. So that's what it reminded me of. But it was like a kata for their synchronization. For them to all kind of line up and be one brain. But I obviously,
even their movements within the group. It reminds me of drum corps. I grew up, my parents were drum corps people. Yeah,
yeah,
it's hysterical. My father was a Connecticut Hurricane. If you ever know the Hurricane.
My mom was an Imperial, and then Sharpshooter.
Okay, so yeah,
I literally grew up in I was like the little mascot in Sharpshooters because I was one running around being stupid the whole time I'm seeing it.
So the boys remind me when they change their formations, it reminds me of the pristineness of a drum corps.
Oh, maybe that's why I can get my mom into this.
There you go. Because La La La, especially like if we're going to go back, like especially when they do some of that stuff, I'm like, it reminds, and they have the band there. But like even like watching the rehearsals in the intro video for Ceremony, and they're going and Felix is weaving over, and I'm like, it does. It looks just like they move with the music, just like a drum corps would move with the band. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just very interesting, like the similarities to many different types of things that can just draw you in.
Okay, completely off topic, but on topic because you mentioned the drum corps. The one thing that is driving me crazy whenever I see drum corps now is they don't roll their feet, and it drives me insane.
Not anymore. They're teaching them a different way. I agree.
Oh, which, by the way, if you haven't seen the Boston Crusaders win the other day, because my mom posted about it, we're totally off topic here, but let's just give us a second. If you haven't seen that, you need to go watch it because there's a point in time when the guys doing the horns literally sit down, okay? Yep. They sit down and then they reach over and start playing the other guy's horn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have to see it.
My mother sent it to me and I'm like, oh my God.
Out for a minute. Just like we talked about Channy nerding out in that song for Han Mess or whatever.
But anyway, that's if you're from New England, you might know what we're talking about because it's one of those things that only New Englanders really know about.
That is absolutely correct.
Which doesn't make sense because the competitions are national, but it seems like you only know about it if you're from New England.
I love it.
I don't get it.
I love it.
So anyway, going back to the intro though, it was just really cool to see that how they discuss it amongst themselves.
Absolutely.
And again, something else I noticed.
Yep.
In regards to Chris is that they're doing this, and what does Chris do the whole entire time? He lets everybody else talk.
Yes, he does. He
very rarely said anything.
No, he only do you know the only time he really talks when Felix is there. If you ever notice.
Yeah.
When Felix is in the room, and he drops more English when Felix is there.
Well, yeah.
He still speaks Korean, but he adds more English phrasing when Felix is there. But he does speak the most out of turn, so to speak, when Felix is there.
Yeah.
But everybody else, everybody else talks. Yeah, I mean, I think that's because it's like an Aussie equality. I know that sounds silly, but it's like that's my bro. I can kind of be my kind of like Aussie self with him. You know what I mean? Like it's like, and I don't think Felix takes it as what was that?
My dog. Oh, I have a dog, by the way. So if you ever hear him, that's what that is.
No, it's fine. I think he does that because he knows he can because Felix is comfortable with him talking. Well, you know what I mean? Like he won't. And I think feel bad about it. Whereas the other guys maybe don't think they have a chance, or I don't know.
I think it goes more back to. Honestly, I think it goes farther back to when Felix first came on board, and it was. I think it's kind of at this point. I think it's more of a residual than an actual conscious thing that he does. But I think consciously, when Felix first joined JYPE as a trainee and got introduced, I think he was doing that as a way to kind of give. I mean, like he said in that one, there was that one performance in Sydney where he was talking about how much Felix struggled, and was bawling his eyes out because he missed Sydney so much, and he didn't want Felix to feel the way he did.
Right.
So I think that's what that's because at this point now it's just sort of a residual.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah.
But it's so funny to me to watch because it's like, okay, I know people complain that some of the guys don't get enough airtime or whatever, but as someone that has been in that group dynamic before, as someone that has been kind of the senior in that group dynamic before, it's that aspect of you can truly see him just like, I'm going to let the boys shine.
Yep. It's a respect thing.
I don't need to do anything.
Good on him if he allows them to truly, explain and chat and really get out there because he's the leader and leaders lead but they don't take the show. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they want their others to show because that's a reflection of them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I
and he
now, Chris,
and
if
he
I'm
said
wrong, you tell me I'm wrong, but
and he said he doesn't want to be a leader. He doesn't want to be a leader that leads. He wants to be a leader that listens.
Yeah,
which Chris, that is leading. Like that's true leadership.
Yes,
that's actual true leadership.
Yeah,
and but you can see it with a lot of the stuff that he does. I mean, everybody jokes about him walking in the back and counting everybody, and it's like that's just being the big brother and being being the leader, but being the big brother and being like, okay, these guys are my responsibility.
Right, exactly.
And he shouldered, like actually took that as the responsibility it was as part of him being the leader of the group. And then now nowadays it's more like I'm just gonna let you boys do your thing. I'm just gonna. And you saw it during the tour. There were every single stop on the tour, toward the end, he would stay in the back and just watch them. He would watch the audience, take it all in, and good for you. Absolutely. You deserved that.
I was going to say, you take that moment. Absolutely.
But it wasn't just observing the audience and taking the moment in. It was him literally watching the guys just have a blast.
Yep.
And like, okay, I was able to get them here. This is
right.
This is where we are. And this is, and I want them to be able to enjoy every single second of it. So yeah, that was just kind of a neat little.
All right, moving
on. There's one other one though. Han talking about Mess.
Yeah.
And how that's an older song.
Yeah, 2021.
Which old song 4 years ago is an old song, but I mean, I get it. But just so obviously that was during his Dark Honey time period.
Yep.
But for me, it was really cool to see how his brain works with the songwriting process, because you saw it. I think you saw it a little bit more with him talking about the different songs, like the Dummy and what was the other one? There's another one. Yeah. But like how he is trying to take these words that are very, very simple.
Yes. Okay, and I can't remember the other word.
They're not used as often, or if they are, they're not frequent.
Right.
And kind of, how that all sort of plays in to his songwriting process. I thought that was really kind of neat to see. And then the aspect of the fact that whenever they were thinking about something that was rock based, every single one of them thought it was Han. Like in their minds, anything that is rock based is a Hani song, is a hymn.
Is a hymn, but it's also some of the ballads, because one of my favorite songs recently is Just a Little off the Japanese comeback album. And it's a beautiful ballad. Like that's how I consider it. I don't consider that rock. Mm-hmm. No. You know what I mean? Or Twilight, that was a ballad. That was like a skiz ballad. Like Ian was saying, like we have to have somewhat of a ballad on all our albums, but it's a skizified ballad.
I noticed that he specified only on the long play albums, only on a full album.
I did. Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
It's like we need to have a ballad. Every full album should have a ballad.
Right.
Okay, Ian.
Okay, that makes sense.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then again, when they were talking about 0801, and the whole like kindergarten, we're kindergarten stricken.
Which I mean, I kind of got a very up kind of feel, like even from the
ballad.
Yeah, and it is. It's kind of got this little like, But
Hyunjin talking about how he envisioned it as Stay listening to it going, my babies, and I was like, yes, exactly, because as soon as I saw that little snippet of the when I was watching the behind the scenes, and then when you saw the little teaser for it, I was literally like, look at you guys, they're awesome.
Yeah,
it was like, I started talking to them like they were Barry. And yes, but that whole I love the fact that they can kind of foresee that.
Mm-hmm.
That they can, they can
force. You know what? As much as we've been so long with them now, mind you, some of us have come in a little bit later, but I mean, we also kind of binged the content from when they first started, so we feel like we know them. It's they've grown, we've grown. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, so they realize now more, and they're knee deep in Stayville. I don't care what anybody says. They're all lurking. They're all lurking and seeing what Stay's talking about. I mean, the fact we talked about this yesterday. We talked about how in the Spotify stadium, you know, they talked about the dating rumor with, you know, Chan been interviewing him, the dating rumor, and also the Hyunjin's head at the back of the Karma teaser where it's like looks like touching grass. Yeah. Like, you know, there's all these little nods and winks to Stay. They know. So the fact of the matter is, since they knew immediately when they wrote, or Chan, I think, when he wrote this song, how, and then Hyunjin had this view of it. It was to say, we're here, we got you, you got us, we got you, you know, kind of thing. Yeah, that's how I take it. But
and I did rewatch that the stadium preview teaser or whatever whatever we want to call it, and I did not hear Hyunjin say the thing like Hyunjin mentioned.
It's literally this quick.
I was gonna say, because Hyunjin mentioned licks right after, but he was asking Felix like one of the questions about
right, but it like leads in. So I'm like saying it's very subtle. It's not a very. It's like almost like a kind of like a quick wink.
I have to like go watch it back and like slow it down or something then, because
because even the way the wording goes, it's said and then it's like aha, or like it's even like Hyunjin's facial expression more so than even anything else.
Got it.
But
anyway, So, speaking of Hyunjin's hair looking like a touch grass reference, because that's exactly what that was. Today, hair.
Okay, timeout. Spoiler alert for anybody who.
Yes.
Because
heaven forbid, if you don't want to hear about hair right now, stop here. Do not proceed. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do not yell at us.
That we're ruining it, that we ruined it for you, because I'm putting here spoiler alert, okay? Because
I need to make a spoiler graphic and like
and put it across the screen.
Can I do that?
I don't know. We'll have to try it next time, because it's like because I've seen too many people get so annoyed today, which it's like, guys, this is not the thing to hang your hat on, okay?
Yeah, this
is we're in the home stretch. Like, everybody be positive. Start listening to your playlist. Like, let's go. Like, none of this like infighting stuff, because that's exactly what we don't need.
And for anybody, and because I have seen it on I've seen it in a couple of different places, not just on Threads, but I've seen it on like Facebook and everything else too. There are people that are asking the question that like, why is today any different than them, you know, walking down the street and, you know, going to see the Coliseum, or, you know, going shopping or something like that. The difference is, and I will tell you what the difference is. The difference is that this was an official event where they were going to show said, I mean, they were going to an event for
Stay. Were there. We have a friend in common that's on Threads that was there and shared some of the information, which I appreciated. That didn't spoil anything for me.
No, but that's kind of the point. Not to mention, when they got out of the vehicle, they were wearing the uniforms that they were going to be performing in.
Right.
So it was an official event, number one. And yes, they want to keep things as low key and as, you know, as surprising as they can.
Smart. He wore a hat. The rest of them just were like, "Phew, here we are." But I mean, at least
Ian wore a hat.
Yeah, you know, and he didn't need to.
Apparently, I don't know.
But and Felix had spoiled it when I woke up. I saw the bubble message. Like, he put the pink heart. Like, we already knew. Like, if you had Felix's bubble, you knew he was going to have pink hair.
I think somebody said he posted that one. I went to go, like, I wanted to translate it and it wouldn't translate because it was over 1,000 characters, and I'm like. So I didn't even bother translating it, but somebody counted, and I want to say, hold on.
It was like it was more. It was like 2,000 characters or something. It was a.
Hold on a minute, because I know who figured out how many times he like reposted that. I've just got to find it and figure out where.
Which I think is hysterical, because you know how long that probably took him to do, and then put the one heart in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle of it. Hold on.
I cracked up. I'm like, what is going on, sir?
Where are you, Sally dear? Where are you, Sally? Okay. 432 times.
Oh, that he posted whatever the name of the stay was in the thing. Yeah.
432 times. He reposted.
I give it Felix.
And what's hilarious to me is that prior to that one, every single message before that was a single word.
Yes, which is truly funny.
It's like, because I'm going through it.
She's like, if you have him and Minnie, if you have him and Sungmin, like, what was going on in that dorm? Like, she's like, your guys are drunk. Go home. Like, you know what I mean? Like what's going on? Yeah, like, were they having like fun afterwards? Like, did they go to a party or something? And it was like,
they were sitting back, kicking their feet, giggling is what they were doing. But it was that aspect of like, I'm going through Felix. And I'm like, sir, why are you? What? I know you tend to do shorter messages sometimes, but why is it just one word? Like
really, really, really. I was like,
yeah. And then all of a sudden, poof. So have a parchment.
Yeah. So spoiler alert: Felix now has pink hair, or somebody pinkish. Said it was like pinkish hair,
pinkish lavender,
right?
Like very, very.
Which almost feels like pink. That's why somebody said, "Oh, I hope it's not just spray on these guys that they did this, and it's actually like a true change for the comeback." And I'm like, who knows? Because
it doesn't matter. I don't think Chris's is spray because.
No, I mean, but I haven't been able to look, like, it was only a back picture. Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see some of the footage from the awards and stuff, because let me tell you something. I mean, I've dyed my hair all sorts of colors. The only color that is hard to replicate without it looking fake is red, and Vinny's looks like red hair that's dyed. But then again, he's got dark hair. If he didn't bleach it and do it red, it's going to fade. Same thing with Lino. If that's not platinum, if he didn't platinum it and then put the blue on the tips with the black,
I think Lino did what Han did, which is just the
right. Which eventually it's going to fade.
But yeah, but Benny and Chris, I don't know if that was
right. Hanbin said he didn't want to dye his hair, which I think is funny. He said that in an interview prior. He's like, I think I'll keep it the same way. So unless he was just deflecting, but.
Well, I think he's mentioned somewhat recently that he's actually wanting to grow it back out again because there's something he wants to do with it, but he's got to grow it back out to do that. So
well, maybe, who knows?
And if he wants to keep looking like punk rocker Hyunjin, I am here for it.
Yep,
absolutely.
Yeah, I like blonde Vinny, but that's just maybe I'm in the minority. I know. I like blonde undercut Benny. I like blonde undercut licks.
Yeah, yes, but like,
I love Venom licks. That's my favorite.
You know what's always surprises me is that for whatever reason that one scene in Venom where he's got the controller, he doesn't look like Felix, and I don't know why.
Oh, see, I think
I know it's Felix.
Funny the whole time. I know what you're talking about. But for some reason, I don't know. The door at the end, that one shot of him in the door, I'm just like,
melt. I'm just yes.
Like that emoji, that's like
melting.
But anyways, but yes, I'm excited. I'm excited to see it more tomorrow. So than just these secrets. Yeah,
we'll see it tomorrow because they're on the.
I thought
they're on the award show tomorrow.
All right. Okay.
So we'll see it tomorrow afternoon.
Released till 1 p.m. on the 22nd, correct? Tomorrow's the 21st for them. Like it's the 21st right now for them.
Yes.
Okay.
It is right now. So right now it is 4:53 a.m. in Korea on the 21st right now.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So they for today for them they've got the award show tonight.
Right.
But then for us it'll be tomorrow morning
because it's one. Okay, got you. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay.
So for those of us on the East Coast, when the album gets released on Friday, it'll be 1 o'clock. Yeah, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Korea, but midnight our time.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so there's that. But at the same time, we're going to go back to the fact like the difference between stalking behavior and what was going on today is that today was an official event, and they knew going into it was an official event, and unfortunately, especially since the advent of the internet, spoilers are a thing. And if you don't want to, if you don't want to have something spoiled, if you want to try to maintain as much of the surprise as possible, number one, don't watch the award show tomorrow because you're going to see it, pre album drop. But then in addition to that, that's where I have to go back to the fact that we are only responsible for our own actions and reactions. You cannot get upset or somebody else acting the way in a way opposition to what you would react in this situation.
Right.
Because this is not the same thing. Right. We are not comparing apples to apples. We are comparing apples to watermelon.
Right.
And, or pineapple. I'll use pineapple. We're comparing apples to pineapple. There we go. Cause it's, apples at least still in the word, but it's an official event. They are aware that is going to happen. Yes, the people that went to the event today that our mutual on Threads went to, they basically signed an NDA saying that they're not going to take pictures and whatnot, but they can say, hey, so and so had this, so and so had that,
right?
But they can't really
show you, right? Yeah, but they can explain what it was like. That's why there's pictures of the actual arena that they were in.
Yes,
they could show that.
Yeah, that's a really freaking cool idea. I thought that was like it was a wedding venue apparently. So it was smaller.
Oh, really? Neat.
It was a wedding. It was a wedding banquet hall, essentially.
That's cool.
And it ended up looking like the inside of a school auditorium.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's cool. I like that to go along with the sports vibe of everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why the sports vibe? The sports vibe is still escaping me for some strange reason. I don't know, but
I don't know.
Especially because of how hard some of this stuff is going.
I'll have to think about that more because that's definitely like a theory. That's like theorizing and then people saying, no, you're wrong, but whatever. It's just my opinion. But there's definitely something behind it. Like a team, like they always say they're the same team. So team oriented, like like we said with the halftime, like halftime has many different meanings. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? So
did they have halftime in rugby?
Did they have halftime
in rugby? Do they have like a halftime like we do over because halftime, a lot of people associate halftime with American football.
But isn't there halftime in soccer?
That's what I'm like. Is there one?
Quarters? I mean, there's quarters. There's still like, but halftime. Well, there's halftime in basketball, isn't there? There's halftime in.
No, I don't think so.
There's halftime halftime's four quarters. So halftime would be between 2 and 3.
Technically, halftime.
Right, but halftime would be like football. That's why I made that observation that maybe they were asked to maybe to the Super Bowl because of that, halftime, and people are like, no.
But that's why I'm wondering if does rugby take a similar format or something?
Know. That's a good question.
I will have to look, but it's
I know there's other sports that do have like some sort of break. You know what I mean? Like so.
But rugby would make sense because they've talked about watching. They've talked about watching.
They
rugby.
love soccer too, so I mean that's what I mean. So I don't know, but we'll have to look into that further. That will be as the album unfurls, we'll have to.
Yeah, but I'm curious to see how the sports theme overall is like playing into this concept this time around. And in the meantime, I get to wait for my albums and determine whether or not my happy butt is going to drive 2 hours to go to a Barnes and Noble on Friday. Because I might.
Many of my crew, I will be away, but many of my crew will be meeting in New York and partaking in the dance club event. That's tomorrow night. And partaking in the K-pop Nara or Barnes & Noble event. I don't know which one they picked for Friday because in New York City, there's a bunch of, Barnes & Noble on Fifth, which I walked in and bought. I bought a Stray Kids album to be able to use the bathroom last Saturday. Yeah,
you have to buy something?
Oh. Yeah, you have to buy something to get the code to be able to use the bathroom. So thanks, guys.
Here, go spend $25 to use the bathroom.
Yep.
That's essentially what that is like.
Yep.
I would have bought a bookmark and been like, there's your $4.
Yeah, I know. But I was like, I went over to that thing. I was like, all right, no.
I want it anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm debating. I'm literally debating driving 2 hours roughly to go. Because the only place
let us know next week whenever we get together.
Knowing me, I probably will because I ain't got nothing better to do. It's just, I have to wake up early.
Right.
Because the store opens at 10. So if I want to get there, I'm going to need to leave early in the morning to do it. And I am probably crazy enough. So not like I can buy much, but it's, I just want to see, like, I went to my first cup sleeve with the Orlando concert. So I kind of got my first experience with that. I would like to because my neck of the woods, they don't do them.
Right.
Like I got to drive an hour or 2 hours.
I hear you.
Or, whatever. So yeah. All right. So I think we're coming up on the hour-long mark. I know we're not going to be doing much more than that today.
No.
So we are going to end this one here for the evening for this week, essentially. We're going to figure out now. We will post onto our socials when the next one will be. Please keep on the lookout for that on all of our various socials. They are linked on the post, and they are linked on our bio and here on YouTube as well as on Twitch, depending which format you're actually watching this on. I can't talk today.
That's all right.
And as always, smash the buttons, because we love you all. And the more you guys that do that, the more people can see us. And the more people that see us, the more likely we're going to have more voices in the conversation. And we certainly want you to be joining in on the conversation. So by all means, please do. And with that, I'm going to end with, now let's get out there and be the best damn fandom that stray kids deserve and make our guys proud as hell. So until next time, folks, see you later.
Bye, y'all.
엉덩이 들고 월 달려 마치 아닌 슬라이드 성공도 보장되지 않은 길에 보험은 없이 냅다둬 뒤에서 조심스레 느껴진 압박감에 난 또 가면서 넌 매스하지 순식간에 달러 메이저같이 물론 내 작은 바람이 또 아직 목표에만 분의 0.1도 달성하지 못했다고 Shorty my price 내 결과 달러 멀쩡한 성공이 아닌 전 세계를 다 너를 보겠다면 악수